Hello and welcome to this week's guide. We will be talking about diplomacy by looking at the diplomacy tab and talking about all the confusing numbers that we have here. As always, if there's anything that you want me to talk about next week, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. The first number we're going to talk about is reputation. It's hidden up here in the top right hand corner, and then we're going to talk about opinions and how they affect packs over here on the right hand side of the screen. After that, we'll talk about favor and how they affect your NPC relationship level. And the last thing we'll talk about are these values down here, the race relations. Okay, so reputation. It can vary a lot because the reputation has no upper limit or lower limit. There is one category in the middle of the reputation scale that is a bit different because you start at 0 and you need 200 points to move up to the next level. We just got to trustworthy in this playthrough, which means we get some nice bonuses to our opinion with other reputable players and a little dwelling shop cost reduction. If I increase my reputation to virtuous, that goes all the way up to 20% shop cost reduction or dwelling shop cost reduction, but it doesn't affect your opinion with reputable players or the disreputable players. And that's not really explained in the tooltips or anywhere else. That's just something that I kind of found out by playing around with reputation a little bit. I think it is worth boosting your reputation up through forging a friendship with an NPC faction or an alliance, as well as gifting people a little bit of money. If I go in here and I go to this and I give him just 10 gold, or not gold, energy, that's what they call it in this game, then I get a boost to my reputation, 50 whole points. That's quite a bit for 10 whole turns. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that to boost my reputation up to 275. This guy down here, he's got an untrustworthy reputation, which means dwellings cost more, the shops cost more in dwellings, and everybody gets a casus belli against him, which is kind of a big deal. You don't really want casus belli against you, but if you want to play evil, you can play evil. I think if somebody's untrustworthy or trustworthy affects how likely they are to go for non-aggression packs, but I'm not too sure about that. We'll talk about that next when we talk about opinion. Alright, it's time for us to talk about commander opinions, which I have to admit I'm still a little confused by. They can vary between -800 and +800, but I have had situations where a AI at +800 opinion won't take a non-aggression pact, and situations where a AI at -800 does take a non-aggression pact. So it's really only an indication as to what they want to do, but there are many other factors which aren't really ever presented to the player. For example, if you just eliminated a commander, other commanders are probably less likely to want to fight you. There's probably a plus or minus like 100 on the thresholds that require them to, that they need to be above in order to consider a non-aggression pact, or maybe it makes it harder for them to go to war by decreasing the limit to a smaller negative number. I think if they are negative at all, they can start thinking about going to war, fabricating claims, but you only really need to be concerned once they get to the red. Under -200 opinion, I think, is when they can start to cause issues for you. Now, I do know from this situation here that if they are at -200, That's just before they jump over to the next level where it gets red. They will trade with you. So this guy right here could probably be complemented in order to get him to be able to trade with us. Right now he won't trade anything. He won't trade away his dislike or maybe a settlement or anything along those lines because he's in the red. This dude will trade with us. I think I can, yeah. I can try and get him to send me 150 energy for my Cassis belly. But if he was just a little bit more negative, he wouldn't take that trade. So it is worth trying to keep them above -200 if you just want to trade things like Cassis belly. It is risky to drop their opinion low to get some gold, but I think it's a pretty easy way to get some money very quickly at the beginning of the game. Basically, one claim on the map gives you 5 Cassis belly, and each one's worth 50 energy, so that's pretty good. That's 250 energy. I think he had 3 from maybe insulting me or something along those lines. Oh, he's using covert ops. That's how he got these ones. So I can buy his coverts off his Cassis belly from the covert ops off of him. I know that insults, they give you 3 Cassis belly, so that's another way you can basically turn influence into cash. But once again, that's playing around with opinion, so maybe not worth doing. I think after you buy off some of his Cassis belly, it decays at a rate of 20. The penalty decays at a rate of 20 per turn. Let's go in here and get some claims to show off what that modifier looks like. Grudge from Cassis belly. Yeah, that's going to go from -200 to -180 after I trade away this stuff. But because he's so negative, he won't do that. He won't go for it. But there is a workaround. I can go in there and just gift him the Cassis belly if I accidentally get some Cassis belly. Whoops. Where'd he go? I can go negotiate, add, and just gift it to him. Now he likes me a little bit more. So yeah, that's a way you can play around with the opinion a little bit. I think, yeah, there are 1 or 2 other things we want to talk about, like overcoming dislikes takes 20 turns to unlock. When you first meet them, you won't be able to overcome any penalties to their opinion, like the fact that this guy just hates Celestians. I may have one other person out there like that. This guy, yeah, he dislikes Star Union Scholars, but because it's been long enough, we can actually come in here and buy this for 500 energy. I know that looks like a lot of energy, but it's probably worth doing because having negative modifiers with commanders is a good way to get into a war or to get them to fabricate claims and not be your ally. Pretty sure that's everything. Just gonna take a quick second to check my notes. Ooh, there's one other thing. You won't get Cassis belly and claims, or you won't get a Cassis belly if you go over to a border of a ally. I believe this guy is my ally, so even though he has a claim on this location right here, I can found a Vanguard colony or annex this sector without any penalties. And that's something that's kind of not explained anywhere. It's just something that I saw on the forums, a cool little tip. So you can buy the right to build on people's borders. Right now, if I go in here and try and turn this into a settlement, I get a warning that I'm about to get a Cassis belly from this guy. But I think if I go into here, there is a way to get a non-aggression pact, and then get the ability to build on this stuff. But oh, whoops, I need to remove this and go to here. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to be able to build on each other's sectors, our claimed sectors. And now, come in here and grab this without any penalty. Alright, let's talk about favor. Favor is incredibly important as it allows you to increase your diplomatic state from neutral to peaceful, and then from peaceful to friendship, and then from friendship to integration. I think each level requires 20 more favor. To get to peaceful, you need 20 favor. To get to friendship, I believe you need 40. To get to integration, you need more than that. Let's see, let's add up. 25 plus 55 is 80, so you need 80 favor to get to that last level right there. It gets increasingly harder to level up. When you level up, you not only get access to better items over here in this tab, but you also get more influence per turn. Right there it says friendship spacers. When you get to integration, that becomes +3 influence per turn. I believe at the lower level, the level that is lower than that, what's it called? Not peace. I guess peace would give you just +1 influence per turn. Yeah, this one gives you +1 influence per turn, this one gives you +2, and this one gives you +3. You can double that up by getting a doctrine for the syndicate. Syndicate have something called, I think it's noble diplomats. And yeah, that gives you +1 influence for every level. So instead of getting +2 here, we would be getting +4. Really, really nice. Allows you to buy a lot more stuff off of the dwellings, as well as buy things like settlements that are just kind of all across the map. One other cool thing you can do with NPC factions is you can pull them into wars, but I'm still struggling with trying to figure out exactly how that works. We're going to pick a fight here with this guy and this guy, and I think I can only call them into, oh, I can call them both in. Never mind. Can I call them into everybody's war? Huh, I could have sworn that you wouldn't be able to do that. What if I declare war on you? I thought I saw something earlier where it's like it wouldn't give me access to everybody. So yeah, we've got access to 2 people here, 3 people. Maybe I was just seeing a glitch, a graphical glitch. So yeah, I guess as long as they're not an ally, you have the ability to go to war with them. This guy is only at the friendship level with my ally over here, so I think I can go to war with all 3 of these. I could have sworn when I checked this like 5 or 10 minutes ago, one of them was not an option. But hey, that's cool. Just keep clicking around. I guess it might be unlocked. The last set of numbers we're going to talk about are these race relations. The biggest factors in changing them are if you are at war with a nation, or if you're in an alliance with another nation. Those will give you either -200 race relations with that race, or +200 race relations with that race. This syndicate distrust is coming from my war with the syndicate over here, and this Kirko acceptance is coming from my alliance with this Kirko over here. Another factor that does play a role is the number of colonies that you own belonging to each individual race. When you conquer another player's colony, you have the choice to either absorb them, migrate them, or raise the colony. If you absorb them, that will boost their race relationships eventually, but it will take, I think, 10 turns for the occupied city modifier to go away. So that is one way to boost it a tiny little bit. Another way to do it is to just simply send out colonizers, and I think that's how I got all these little own city modifiers. All of those came from me sending a colonizer out. So you can modify your race relationships slightly through colonizing or conquering another player. I really do think absorbing somebody is better because you get access to their technology. Right here we have our Vanguard selected. If we go to assembly, you'll see we could have researched all the different spells and all the mods associated with the assembly because we have an assembly city. But if you want to boost your race relations, you can migrate a city to one of your other ones. I could have migrated the assembly cities into Vanguard cities, which would have boosted my morale if I got over a certain breaking point. I think it's every 200 points that you reach a new level, and this one, the friendly level, gives us 100 morale bonus for happiness, 50% cost reduction for race events, and 100 opinion for all players of that race. This one down here is not quite as good. You don't get any morale bonus, and yeah, the happiness is half as good. The happiness bonus is half as good. The influence and energy cost reduction for race events also half as good. The opinion modifier half as good. So yeah, you can kind of get an idea as to how that all works there. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. That's all the numbers that you can see on the diplomacy screen. If you enjoyed this episode of Beginner's Guides, don't forget to leave a like, to subscribe, and to share with other people you think might find this video interesting. Next week I'm leaning towards talking about dwellings, and then after that I want to talk about doctrines and maybe operations. But if there's anything that you are interested in, like I said earlier, make sure you let me know in the comments below. See you around.